I'm here to talk about a really interesting topic, the information overload. And I guess that all of you, because you're sitting here, have probably started to hear a little bit of information, even from the stands around you today. And so this gives you a bit of an idea about how to avoid feeling really overwhelmed. So I've been a midwife now for 20 years. And I work in a model of care that's called continuity of care. So it means that I look after the same woman from the time she falls pregnant through to 6 weeks after she's had her baby. So she actually stays with me for the whole journey. She might have other practitioners involved in her care, obstetricians, lots of other people, but she actually gets to know me. So I've got to learn lots and lots, hundreds and hundreds of women over the years. So I've got a little bit of experience in talking about this topic. So I'm the managing director of a practice called Midwives, which has 10 practices across Australia. We have 2 in Melbourne here, and we're over on the stand, as Tonya will let you know later. I'm also an author, and I've written a lot about this topic. So, looking at social media and the ways that we can actually filter through all this bombardment of information that we're given. And I'm also a mum. So some of the sort of fears and topics and things that come up in this presentation today are experiences that I've had as a mother as well as a midwife. And believe you me, when you're a midwife and a mother, you actually get heaps and heaps of information. You're very, very terrified because you know lots and lots of things, and it's very hard to filter what you're being told. So, you're pregnant. Who's pregnant here today? Have we got all pregnant mums? Anyone planning a pregnancy? No, so we've all got pregnant mums. Okay, you become everybody's property. The minute you announce that you're pregnant, everybody suddenly owns you, and every person that you know has got a piece of information and a piece of advice for you. And I guess that part of this topic is trying to filter through what of that is useful and what isn't. Everyone has a say, and there's loads and loads of information available to you now with social media and the internet. So you'll see the keep calm, I'm only pregnant. You are only pregnant. Loads of people have done this before. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You'll see through the course of the presentation too, I've got lots of pictures. They're designed to just let you see that you are only pregnant. You're not, you may have some complications, you may have things going on for you, but there is a baby in there. As long as you're feeling calm and comfortable, you will actually be okay, and you will get to this point at 6 weeks after, and everyone will be fine. So, your sources of information is not rocket science. You will know that your sister, your work colleague, some random person you're sitting next to on the bus, the person that's walking in the shop that's serving you, everybody becomes the source of information for you. The main things that we see today, though, are the internet and media. And the internet and the media both are very, very, can be very good sources of information, can actually give you some information that is based in evidence, but can also be a source of false information. So you actually have to learn how to filter all of that out. So the good, we're sort of going from the good sources here. You will see that this presentation is being filmed, and so you will be able to access what of these websites are useful and what's not useful by going on to the Expo website, and they will upload some of the videos. But if you look in the middle, website, your healthcare provider I'll come back to, but the websites that I've got on there are what I call unbiased information. So often you'll see a source like a, bloggy sort of website where some celebrity mum has had a really great birth and they think that their information is the bee's knees. It's really important to actually pick out information that isn't biased. These things that are on here now actually have a level of evidence associated with them. The first one and the second one are Australian sources, and the third one's a very large American database that actually has information that is from research but is in women-friendly sort of language. So it's not like you're going to have to be an academic to interpret the information that's presented on there, but it's things like, yesterday a woman asked me, when can you have an epidural? What's the benefits and the risks of an epidural? Now, some care providers will give you information that's based on their bias. Women in the media will give you information that's based on them. That's not necessarily right for you. You know, like, you're an individual and you need to look at, well, what's the average, but what are the edges of the average? I might not be an average person. What's going to be important at the ends of the spectrum? Those websites will give you both the average and the edges, so that you can make a decision of where you actually sit in the decision making around that. Health insurers and hospitals is on there because your health insurer, like obviously Bupa is sponsoring this stand today, but all of the health insurers usually have a site that gives you information, particularly about some of the financial aspects of birth. So if you've got private health insurance, but also public hospitals also have a lot of information about what's available at that particular hospital, usually nowadays on their website, so that you can go on there and see whether, you know, what you're thinking is true. The two books that I've got on there, one's Australian, which is Birthright, and the other one, Thinking Woman's Guide to Better Birth, is American, but is based on just sorts of questions. It's like a trigger for questions, the questions that you should be asking. So sometimes it's tough. Having a care provider that you know and that you trust next to you is a really good way to start to feel confident. So why are you seeking the information? So that's the first thing to ask yourself. Most of the time, it's because you don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes when you don't know what's going to happen, that makes you frightened. So women, we were talking earlier on that there were mums that were here all day yesterday, coming and listening over and over again, coming and seeking information from the midwives over and over again. It's because they're not getting enough information to stop them feeling frightened. We want to alleviate your fears. We want to make sure that you're not feeling frightened. Some information may actually make you feel more frightened. So it's about picking out the sources of information that are going to make you feel confident and safe and clear in your decisions. Not picking sources of information like the random person on the bus that is going to make you feel really nervous. Your work colleagues who have had a bad experience, or your sister that had a horrendous birth. So, how do you know if you're starting to feel overloaded? So, most women, if they're starting to feel overloaded, have things like they're actually starting to present at hospital really regularly, or at their care provider for lots and lots of visits. They're not actually just going for their normal sort of visits. They start to feel scared and frightened, so they start to feel in their stomach that they're not feeling confident. They're searching on the same topic all over and over again and searching for information. Hope I haven't set off a gunshot there. Sort of trying to find the same thing over and over again. You know, what about an epidural? What about this? What about that? What happens if I have to have stitches? What happens if I have to have a cesarean? What if my baby won't settle? You know, and they search and search and search. But the main thing is that if you feel like you get all the information that you're going to have a perfect birth or a perfect baby, you're going to feel let down. There is no perfect birth, there is no perfect baby, so you can't just source information to make yourself feel like that's going to be perfect. You just need to feel confident. So, how do you avoid the information overload? So this is the main purpose of today. You must choose the person who is going to be your source of information very, very wisely. If you're finding that you're getting someone that's spending time with you 24/7, is available to you 24/7 and is able to essentially sit down, spend at least a minimum of half an hour with you at each visit. Anything less than that is not enough. So if you're finding that proportionately you are spending 3 or 4 hours or half an hour, 2 hours waiting for somebody and you're getting 5 minutes of their time, then you are not getting what I would call quality care, and you need to think very carefully, because your care provider is the person who's going to build your confidence and build your knowledge and build your ability to feel confident in what you're doing around your birth. So they need to be able to get to know what your preferences are, know what your worries are, sit down and listen to your questions, answer them appropriately so that you're building confidence, not decreasing confidence. Anything less than that is likely to be negative, because you're going to actually start to move into that period of feeling fear rather than feeling more confidence as you go along. And also they need to have knowledge. So if you're feeling like you're going to a public hospital and you're seeing different people all the time, and sometimes you're seeing a junior doctor and you're not feeling like you're getting confident, knowledgeable information, then you need to find another source to increase your confidence and your ability to birth safely. So I want you to all think about that. That's the take-home message, because that person that is going to be with you in your birth, that's going to make you feel confident and safe, is the way to actually know that you're going to get the best information for you. And for every single person sitting in this room, there is a person out there that makes you feel confident. So if you haven't found them, then you need to keep looking. These women in these photos are not some stranger that I'm picking up off the internet. They are actually births that I've either been an attendant at, or I've been party of, or my colleagues have worked with. So the midwife that's in this photo here is actually over on the Midwives stand, and that woman is not a lucky, random person who's just had this calm and peaceful experience. She is somebody that is just a normal run-of-the-mill mum. So she's having a confident, easy, transitional birth. Baby's coming out, no screaming, no drama, no panic. She's got no epidural in, she's just in the water, she's fine. And that's what birth can be like. It's not just a lucky experience, it can actually be like that. And the same, this mum is not feeling it just happens to be 2 water births. It's not meant to drive water birth. It's the same on land. But this woman here is feeling, overwhelmed, powerful, great, confident. And that's what you need to feel like to have a good experience, both in a birth and as a mum with a newborn baby. So, that's what the message is today. So the most important thing is to trust yourself, to trust in your body, in your ability to have a baby, in your care provider to be available to you and be knowledgeable in your place of birth. So if you haven't gone onto your hospital's website and had a look at the information that's available on the website, then you need to do that and actually make sure that what you want, whether it be postnatal care to 6 weeks or 2 people visiting you a day, or whether it be something to do with your choices in birth, make sure it's available in the facility that you're birthing in. Obviously your birth partner, so the person that's sitting beside you maybe as your beloved here, you need to have confidence in them, and they need to have confidence in what they're doing to be able to make the decisions. So our website, mymidwives.com.au, doesn't give you information, but it does help you to find care providers and people that you can trust in birth. So if you're feeling like you're not getting that confident decision making, then I implore you to actually go and have a look at that or anything else that provides you with that opportunity, and to actually ask some questions and make some decisions.